What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Ron here from Never Lucky Fantasy Football. We're going to be doing the Week 6 coverage report. It's probably my favorite video to do every week. I'm looking at bad defense. I'm looking at what coverage they play, whether it's man or zone, and I want to find those mismatches. I want to know which wide receivers perform better versus each one. It does pretty well for us every week. It just helps us give us that little bit of edge. You're obviously going to start your studs. You're going to start the top 24, 36 guys regardless. This is just my attempt to find those like sneaky starts, right? So let's get into this video. And I first want to cover kind of how the sausage is made. I got Hayden Winks here, a couple charts from him. It's the week 6 fantasy defenses. It's Vegas projected points allowed as well as projected sack rate. It's just a way for us to know who's getting a lot of sacks, a lot of pressure on the QB versus who's going to give up a lot of points. Those are kind of the passing defenses we want to then attack, right? And we have this little cluster. So that's kind of the first stage of the research. And then looking down, we got the week 6 passing matchups. This is another one where it's like opponent passing defense EPA. And then on the bottom, it's passing offense EPA. Good offenses versus good or bad defense, right? And then you have these clusters. These are like the offenses you want to target. These are some of the bad defenses, but also bad offenses. And then I want to know the coverage stats, just who plays zone, who plays man, the pass success rate. This just helps me know which defenses you want to target and then which type of coverage they play. And then there are certain wide receivers that are good at one or the other. All right, we're going to start this with the Cardinals, man. So they're projected 28 plus points given up based on Vegas and 25th worst in pass success rate. So they are just a defense that they give up a lot of points and they're not very good at stopping the pass. And they play zone at the 12th highest rate at about 80%. And so the Cardinals play a lot of zone. Michael Pittman is a guy who really performs very well against zone. I mean, he's just their best wide receiver in general, so he's going to perform well against both. But one thing that I do want to point out is that Josh Downs actually has a lot of his production against zone. Now, I want to preface that by saying most of his production against zone comes in losing game scripts. Meaning, if they're winning, they're usually going to have 2 tight ends on the field. They're going to be running the ball. They're not going to be using Josh Downs. He's not going to be running a lot of routes. We see here that Josh Downs is number 2 on the team in terms of routes run. But, you know, he's not out there the whole time. He's not out there 90 or 80% plus of the routes, which is kind of shitty, right? We don't really know when to start Josh Downs. But I think this is one of those matchups where Michael Pittman is going to eat. Josh Downs has a chance depending on the game script. If Kyler Murray is playing, I like Josh Downs in this matchup. He is a zone beater. He's a guy. He's great on third downs. He was the target leader in the last game, so we were kind of seeing a little bit of uptrending or trending up for Josh Downs. So thank God I've been high on Josh Downs all offseason. Let me know what you guys think about him, man. Are you going to feel confident starting him rest of the season? It's kind of tough where if I saw him on the waiver wire, I'd pick him up. So you can't really start him confidently in a lot of matchups. You don't want to bench him. You don't want to drop him. You're kind of just sitting in this situation where we're really trying to figure out when we can start Josh Downs. It's a shitty situation to be in, but most of the fantasy production does come against zone. Here's what I think about this matchup. Michael Pittman is a smash start for 2 quarters, right? If Kyler Murray doesn't play and they're getting the breaks beat off of them, it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be, the run game. DJ Giddens might even see some work here. This looks to be a game where Jonathan Taylor eats. I just want to say one thing, though, one small caveat about this Cardinals defense. They're actually pretty decent in stopping the run. They're not like amazing, but they are like top 12 in a lot of categories. So keep that in mind. Although the Colts should be in a winning game script, I'm not going to say that the Cardinals are going to be able to stop the Colts. The Colts are just a different animal when it comes to running the ball. Their offensive line is great. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor, probably the best running back pound for pound as like a early down runner, I would say. So this could be a Jonathan Taylor game. But if the Cardinals do show up and they can stop the run and Daniel Jones is forced to throw, I do like Josh Downs. I do like Michael Pittman way more. Michael Pittman is just a smash start in general. And then Tyler Warren, you're definitely going to be starting him against his own defense. Someone like Tyler Warren can just eat on those short intermediate routes. So let's move along now to the next one. It is going to be the Jets defense. They have a very low sack rate, high points allowed, and they've been pretty great for opposing quarterbacks. So you pretty much want to start all your players against the Jets. And obviously they play against the Broncos in week 6. The Jets play man the 8th highest rate. Their yards after catch per reception and their yak over expected per reception are ranked 32nd and 31st. So one of the worst in the league at stopping anyone after the catch. They just can't tackle. I don't know what it is, but let's look at the Broncos now. So as I mentioned, they play man the 8th highest. They do have Sauce Gardner, who is a cover corner. So while Courtland Sutton is kind of the main guy against man defense, he's not actually at his peak there, right? He only has 10 PPR points against man coverage here, 4 for 63. He's a bigger bodied guy. He can win contested catches, but he's not a very good separator. Just at his age, at his size, he's not a guy who's like going to separate very well. So that's why he's much better against zone, right? So when we take that into account, we see that The Broncos pass catchers against man, there's no one that really sticks out to us. Courtland Sutton is kind of just the default guy that you probably want to be starting. But we see against zone, kind of everyone eats, right? Courtland Sutton eats, Troy Franklin eats. Marvin Mims is kind of that guy where I look at, I'm like, ideally, if he were running more routes against man, maybe he'd be producing more. He is the speedy guy. He's the downfield guy, the guy that could potentially break the top off of a defense, but he's just not getting enough routes, right? Because of that, the actual pass catcher that I want to start against this Jets defense is actually Evan Engram, man. I think he's going to be the one who's going to have the best success, man. And I just want to show you guys one more little chart here. Now, when we're trying to figure out which wide receiver to start, we see that nobody really eats against man. But what I did see, I wanted to look at just how teams perform against certain positions. The Jets are 24th worst against tight ends. So that seems to be the weakness of their defense. I mean, their pass defense is just bad in general. They give up a lot of points in general, but it looks like the tight end position is the position we want to be attacking. And Evan Engram has been kind of on a little bit of an ascent. He's getting a little bit more routes run, a little bit more snap percentage. He obviously gets 7 and then I believe 6 targets in back-to-back games. He gets the touchdown in the last game. The Broncos do want to make a point of making Evan Engram kind of their joker role. I mean, it's a role that I'm just kind of tired of hearing this joker role shit. But nevertheless, man, I do think Evan Engram is somebody who can be good in this matchup. It's a very bad defense. They give up a lot of plays. They give up a lot of points, but they do have a cover corner, and Sutton man coverage is not his forte. So because of that, I think there's opportunity here. I think Evan Engram could potentially get into the end zone again, maybe even get a little bit more yardage. He's been like sub 40 yards in every game. So let's see if they can get him a little bit more stuff, a little bit further down the field, some intermediate stuff. So Evan Engram is my start against this Jets defense. Let's move it along now. Let's talk now about the Steelers, man. So the Steelers are the 26th worst in pass success rate, 28th in completion percent over expectation, 22nd in EPA per pass attempt, and they play man defense a little more than others. It's not crazy. It's the ninth highest rate, and zone at 67% of the time, also about league average, but also below league average. So they want to play a lot of man defense as well. So the Steelers are playing the Browns, and in week 5, Dylan Gabriel got his first start. 33 passes, 13 of them went to Njoku and Fannin, so to the tight ends. More than 30% of his pass attempts went to tight ends. So all the other wide receivers combined had only 14 targets. So what does that mean for this game where the Pittsburgh Steelers are 27th worst against tight ends, 27th worst against wide receivers, and they're bad against quarterbacks. They just give up a lot of points. It's just a very bad Steelers defense. And let's look at the Browns and let's see who kind of produces against which. Against man coverage, we see here that Jeudy has the most production on the season so far. 84 receiving yards, 21% target rate, 14 PPR points. But something caught my eye here, man. Isaiah Bond here down at the bottom. Keep in mind, this was a player that was a rotational part-time player the entire season. He only became like a full-time starter kind of the last 2 weeks. Last week he was kind of getting up to speed, and then last week he was a full-time starter. So he ran, quite a lot of routes, and we see that he had a 26% target rate against man coverage, 10 PPR points. That's so far this season, so that goes back to week 1. This is week 1 through week 5. And, I like what I see so far from him. He got like an end zone target. He had 7 targets in this last game. And we see that against zone coverage, which, the Steelers also play a bit of. Isaiah Bond, again, dude, popping up 5 receptions for 50 yards, 10 PPR points. So he's equally good at both zone and man. And I think that this is going to be a situation where Isaiah Bond is going to continue cementing himself. Jerry Jeudy, just something seems wrong. He just seems to be like the fourth option, the guy that they're not really looking to get that involved. Like last game was very indicative to me, man. Dylan Gabriel, their first time in the red zone, the very first end zone target went to Isaiah Bond. It went through his hands, or I think he got a PI or something like that, but he could have caught it. It like went right through his arms. He tried to do like a body catch, but nevertheless, man, I am excited about Bond. I do think he's kind of a sneaky start as a guy that they're really trying to get involved. He seems to be really good against both man and zone, but his target rate, man, his target rate against man coverage being 26%. That is something that excites me, man. This is a Steelers defense that is bad and they play a lot of man. Start Bond this week, dude. I think he's a sneaky one. Obviously, I'd start him as like my second, third flex if you're in like a deep league. Don't sit like really good options for someone like Isaiah Bond. I kind of want to see the production before I start putting him in the lineup. But I do know that this is a team that they're looking young. They want to look to their young players, right? Judkins, Bond, Harold Fannin. And yeah, I just think you could do a lot worse than Isaiah Bond. Let's move along now to the Saints defense. They're 28th worst against tight ends, 24th against running backs, and 8th best against wide receivers, which was very interesting to me. let's look at the chart. So the Saints play zone the 8th highest rate in the NFL. So they're playing a lot of zone defense and they're good at stopping wide receivers. We see here that Stefon Diggs, he's actually good at zone, right? That's like kind of what he's been known for. 20 receptions for 216 yards, 26% target rate. Now, don't get me wrong, dude. His rates against man are also great. 9 for 143 with a 31% target rate. He's kind of just their alpha wide receiver. I can't believe it, man. He's coming off like a massive ACL injury. He's older and they're just like, nope, let's get him fed. He's still good, I guess. He's still like serviceable. What a great draft pick if you did draft Stefon Diggs. Kudos to you, man. But as I mentioned, man, this is a team that is 28th worst against tight ends. And I wanted to do some digging. I wanted to see, all right, Hunter Henry, how does he do against tight ends? He's been pretty involved. He's been a pretty good tight end thus far. He has a 2.2 yards per route run against zone, 17 targets, 12 receptions, 2 touchdowns, while he's pretty pedestrian against man. He has like 1 touchdown, only like 4 or 5 receptions. So he is really a zone beater. That's Hunter Henry's role on this Patriots offense. Diggs is going to be the alpha. He's going to get the most targets most likely against man or zone. But Hunter Henry, man, sneaky start, somebody who against this really bad defense when it comes to defending tight ends. Hunter Henry is in a smash start, man. He's in an explosion game type game script where, the Steelers defense, they give up a lot of points, man. They're just going to be a bad defense. I think Hunter Henry is going to be kind of the secret weapon in this game. He's probably going to get a touchdown. And we do know that Hunter Henry can get touchdowns. He can have like a multi-touchdown type game. All right, next we got the Bears defense, man. This is a defense that is pretty much just bad. Their secondary just can't really stop anyone. They play man coverage, the second highest of 44% man coverage, 27th in completion percent over expectation, 28th in pass success rate. So this is a team that's struggling, man. They're giving up a lot of points. They're giving up a lot of big plays. They can't really tackle, 22nd in yards after the catch per reception. And they do play against the Commanders. And I wanted to look at the Commanders. I mean, there's not a lot, right? It's slim pickings. It's pretty much Deebo Samuel and no one else. But just to make sure, I wanted to look at Deebo's numbers. And I was expecting Deebo to struggle against man and just not be performing very well. But when I looked at the numbers, 7 receptions for 89 yards with a 26% target rate, 33 fantasy points. Now, keep in mind, Deebo is much better against zone. We see here he has 100 routes run against zone, 23 catches for 211 yards, 44 PPR points with a 26% target rate. He's always been a zone shredder, right? He's a yards after catch guy. And as you guys saw, I mentioned the Bears are 22nd and 23rd in yak per reception and yak over expectation per reception. They allow big plays, and specifically, they allow big plays after the catch. And that screams Deebo Samuel, man. This is a game where Deebo Samuel is actually good against man defense this year, which is something that I never thought would be possible. I mean, he was always like a poor separator when he was with the 49ers, but I think Deebo is just going to eat, man. Like, I think you were going to start Deebo regardless, but if this gives you that little bit of confidence, just a little note, I would probably sit Zach Ertz because he's really bad against man coverage this year. He has like a 30 PFF grade against man coverage. In other matchups where it's heavy zone, you'd want to play a guy like Ertz because he can just get open in those soft spots of the zone. But against man, Deebo Samuel's kind of the only one that really does very well. There's a couple of other guys that are a little bit interesting, like Jaylin Lane. He's got, a 28% target rate against man. So that's kind of interesting, but I don't know if you want to take a shot on like a really deep guy like a Jaylin Lane. If you're in like a 32-man league, right? Or like a very competitive 14-man league, and you're just looking at scraping the bottom of the barrel. Jaylin Lane is someone that is interesting. But that does it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for giving me your time. I hope you guys appreciate it. Stay tuned. I'm going to be doing this same type of video, but for running backs. Hopefully I can get it out today. We'll see. I might have to get it out tomorrow on Friday. But nevertheless, man, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you giving me your time. If you like the video, please give it a like. It's the best way for the video to reach more people. Trying to hit 2K subscribers, man. If you guys can help me out to hit that 2K, it just means the world to me. There is going to be a Discord link in the top comment as well as in the description. Sick little Discord community where we're talking about every day, man. It's probably one of my favorite parts about this YouTube channel. And you can get in there, get your questions answered. It's a community-based thing where everyone's giving advice, everyone's giving feedback. We're doing polls where we're helping each other with sit starts. So it's a cool little community. Make sure you guys do go and join that. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.